There are moments in life when time doesn't just tick. It talks. And if you listen closely, it whispers stories of elegance, rebellion, artistry, and sometimes pure magic. Today, you're not just see 10 vintage watches. You're stepping into 10 time machines, each with a soul. And the best part, every single one of these watches just went live today on our website. So buckle up, because it isn't just a showcase. It's a chance to make one of them yours. And when I first picked up the Audemars Piguet 6009 ST, I expected something cold, something clinical. But the moment it touched my skin, I was caught off guard. It isn't just a timekeeper, it's a scalpel, sharp, clean, minimalist to the point of poetry. The 29mm stainless steel case feels deceptively light at 68 grams, but there's a density in its proportions what whispers precision. The tapisserie dial, that deep gray grid of texture, plays with the light like ripples on dark water. It's a dial that doesn't scream for attention, but rewards those who linger. And then there's the bracelet. The original AP steel bracelet isn't just integrated, it's sculpted. It hugs the wrist with a kind of quiet confidence, almost like it knows it doesn't need to prove anything. At 6.4 mm thickness, it disappears under a cuff, but on the bare wrist, it's pure architecture. This isn't the Royal Oak, not officially, but wearing it, you would swear you were in on a secret. It's for someone who knows but doesn't boast. Someone who wants a pedigree without the paparazzi. This watch isn't for everyone, of course, but if it's for you, you will feel it in the moment you put it on. Holding the Cartier Baignoire is like reaching into a drawer and finding a handwritten love letter from another century. It's delicate, it's daring, it's unmistakably Cartier. The first thing you notice is, of course, the shape. That elegant, elongated oval, inspired by the outline of a bath tube. Yes, but this is no utilitarian bezel. It's French design at its most sensual. The 18K yellow gold case catches the light with a soft, honeyed glow. At 22 mm wide and just 7.5 mm thick, it doesn't sit on your wrist, it grazes it. And then you flip it over and feel the warmth. Not just from the gold, but from the decades it's seen. The watch wears like a whisper, light as a silk glove, weighing only 22 grams. Yet its presence is undeniable. The dial is Cartier's signature white, simple. Roman numerals marching around like Parisian soldiers, blue steel hands sweeping across like dancers at the opera. And of course, that crown, set with a sapphire cabochon like a royal wing. Inside beats a manually wound Cartier movement, freshly serviced of course. Winding it each morning feels less like a chore and more like a ritual, a moment of connection between past and present. This is a Cartier Baignoire, reference 78-290. And if elegance had a shape, this would be it. This Omega Constellation 168010 isn't loud, but make no mistake, it got authority. Picking it up, you immediately feel the balance, not just in weight, but in design, in proportions, in history. It's a 35 mm stainless steel dress watch, but it wears like confidence on the wrist. The silver sunburst dial is understated perfection. Those slim baton hour markers catch the light like tiny blades. And the tritium loom, gently aged, whispers stories from another time. And let's not forget the hands. Original, sharp, elegant. They sweep with grace. Inside, the Omega Caliber 564, a COSC certified chronometer. Hums with 50 hours of power reserve and the soul of 1967. This isn't just a movement. It's a beating heart from the golden age of Swiss watchmaking. With its screw-down caseback, beautifully angled lugs, and just 10 mm of thickness, it was snug, refined. The reference 1680-10. A watch that doesn't shout, it convinces. There's vintage and then there's pre-war charm. And this Omega from 1939 wears its age like a knight wears armor. At 37.5 mm. It's a true jumbo by the standards of the day. But it doesn't overwhelm, it commands. The silver railroad dial feels straight out of a black and white film reel. Arabic numerals, the Pontiff hour hand, every detail is drenched in history. And the best part? It's all original. Nothing touched, nothing faked. The stainless steel case has a modest patina and sits proudly on the wrist. Solid yet slim at just 10.5 mm thick. The dark brown strap anchors it in classic masculinity. Inside, the hand-wound Omega movement is as pure as they come. No frills, just time ticking with the weight of 8 decades. This one doesn't need a reference number to impress. It just needs your wrist and a love for real history. Next we have the Patek Philippe Calatrava 3923, a whisper of excellence. A 32 mm symphony in 18K yellow gold with short scalped lugs that melt into the strap like butter over warm bread. The dial is a flawless silver Sigma dial, and that matters because it tells you the markers and hands are gold too. It's small, it's quiet, and yet somehow it says more about you than 1,000 words ever could. The movement? The legendary caliber 215. Manual wind, 46 hours of power reserve, regulated to within plus 9 seconds a day. It's the kind of craftsmanship you don't notice, because it just works. Wearing this feels like wearing legacy. This is Patek at its most distilled. And if the devil is in the details, then this watch is pure heaven. And here we have another wonderful Patek from the 1980s. Minimalism isn't the absence of design. It's design refined to its essence. And the Patek Philippe 3846 is pure essence. At just 27 mm, this yellow gold masterpiece feels like a secret. The sunburst blue dial, untouched, shimmering, sacred, is framed by nothing more than symmetry and silence. No date, no clutter, just time, perfectly proportionate. The case, made by Favre and Perret, is thin as a thought, just 5.8 mm, and yet it holds within it the same caliber 215 as its bigger siblings. Manual wind, of course, serviced, of course, flawless, of course. Wearing this watch is like listening to a solo piano in a quiet room. It doesn't damage applause, but you will never forget the performance. As we all know, Piaget doesn't make watches. It makes jewelry that tells time. And this Piaget Polo, it's a gold sculpture that just happens to tick. From the moment it rests on your wrist, you feel it. 95 grams of 18K yellow gold. Not weight, presence. The integrated bracelet wraps like a liquid metal. And then there's a dial, golden, radiant, and set with white and red diamonds like a gala in miniature. It's glam, but refined. And with the ultra-thin caliber 9P2 ticking inside, just 2 mm thick, you're wearing one of the slimmest, most elegant manual wind movements ever made. Reference 9131 K51. A reference that feels less like a serial number and more like a secret password to the 1980s Riviera royalty. You think you know Rolex, but then you meet the Cellini line, like this Cellini 4127 from 1990. This isn't your dive buddy submariner. This is the tuxedo you didn't know you needed. The 18K yellow gold square case is unexpected, elegant, and beautifully weird in all the right ways. The hobnail bezel gives it texture. The wood dial? That's not just rare, that's collector catnip. Wearing it, the 24mm case feels refined. But thanks to the square profile, it has a real wrist presence, especially with the original dark brown strap and Rolex gold buckle that seals the whole aesthetic with a crown. Inside, the manual Rolex caliber 1601, regulated service and ready to make your wrist the most interesting one in the room. This is the reference 4127, and it proved Rolex knows how to do subtle better than anyone else does bold. This little Zenith is like a 1930s poem in stainless steel. Small at 28.5 mm, yes, but packed with character. The step bezel is charming. The cathedral hands, dramatic. The radium loom, now softly aged, glows with dignity more than function. There's a railroad track around the dial, a sub-second at 6. All the hallmarks of pre-war design. It's modest, but magnetic. Once it's on the wrist, it doesn't leave your mind. Inside, the caliber 12.4. Hand-wound, precise, clean. It ticks not just with time, but with intention. Wearing this watch feels like wearing the heartbeat of the 1930s. Quiet, but unforgettable. Next we have my favorite piece of today's drop, a Longines Conquest 9045/8 from 1966 in rose gold. It's one of those watches you feel before you even strap it on. The warmth of the 34mm case, the quiet glint of the untouched rose gold dial, its soft-spoken sophistication, like a jazz record played low in a smoky bar. The case back, decorated with enamel, even in the parts no one sees. That's not just attention to detail, that's love. The automatic caliber 291 hums along beautifully, offering a solid 45-hour power reserve. Precision meets passion. The reference 9045/8. So if you ever wondered what subtle power looks like, this is it. And just like that, we've reached the end of our journey through 10 decades of craftsmanship, character, and pure horological emotion. Each of these watches isn't just a machine, it's a moment, a story wrapped in steel, gold, and time. If one of them whispered to you, maybe it's time to listen. So every Thursday we open the vault again. New watches, new stories. So if your heart beats just a little faster for vintage, don't forget to subscribe. And join us next week for another deep dive into the world where time never gets old. Until then, stay classic.